One. Okay. Hey, folks. Welcome to Brothers and Booze. How's it going? I'm Doug Diggler. I'm here with my esteemed colleague.
The one and only.
Daddy
Me.
Yeah, so we got a fun one going tonight, man. But let's start. I am going to crack open my lowest ABV beer, which is 9.1%. So it's going to be a fun night for me in that one. So
yeah. So we have a film from Wake Dad Drink Repeat, but there's no Wake Dad Pass Out Repeat. Is that what you're going to do?
We'll have to ask him about that because that's another option.
Is that what you're going to do tonight, though?
Probably. So what I'm grabbing here is Frostfang from Motorworks Brewing out of Bradenton, Florida. I got a friend of mine sent me some beer from Florida this week, so I'm including that stuff on here.
Beer mail.
Yep. So this is a Russian Imperial Stout with vanilla, lactose, coffee, and whiskey-soaked oat chips. So I'm starting in big, baby.
Where does the night go when you start with an RIS?
Wherever it wants to.
Has it been one of those weeks, Doug?
Dude, you've seen all the yard work I've been doing, right? I've been sending you photos of that shit. So yeah. All right. Not a lot. Just kind of smells like a regular RIS. Not really any of the other things they talked about on the nose.
How old is that shit?
Oh man, but on the taste, all of that shit's there. Coffee, you get the little bit of lactose, a little bit of vanilla. I don't really get the whiskey soaked chips part much, but this one is from October of 2019. So it's a Russian Imperial Stout. It should be fine. That shouldn't be a problem. But
no, I was just wondering if some of the adjuncts had maybe tailed off.
Yeah, maybe that would. But no, on the nose, but you get all the flavors except for the whiskey chips. I don't get any of the whiskey notes out of that. So,
okay.
What do you got?
I was doing a little pre-gaming with this one. We know this one. Everybody knows this one. So, I don't know. I'm still done, and I don't know. I got 3 more. We'll see. I'm gonna actually when we pull the guys up here, I'll probably jump into this hazy Hoppalicious from Ale Asylum. I'm drinking through my Ale Asylum, almost an average $1 a beer stash. Absolutely. So I'll probably be pulling that once we bring the fellas up, and we'll probably all be talking. So then you'll miss it. But I don't know. I assume that it's a hazy. Hoppalicious.
Yeah. You talked about it on the show, but you haven't had it on here yet. So
no, it's been one of my lists, but this fuck COVID is really nice. Hazy pale, 5%, so juicy and so you lead me in, and I'll bring the fellas on.
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, without further ado.
Wake Dad Drink Repeat, guys. Come on. Mike and Palmer. Hey guys, how are you?
What's up, guys? Doug and Greg, what is up?
What's going on? What do you guys got going up in your glasses there? Let's start there.
Go ahead, Mikey.
I am on my old fashioned. I'm always drinking. It's usually always bourbon, and it's just a matter of how it's mixed. It's either straight or it's either with a lot of seltzer. It's got lime, it's got orange, it's got something, but it's usually always bourbon or scotch is usually my cup of something.
Yeah. What about you, Palmer?
I am working on some Willet tonight, fellas, and because I've got mad love for you guys, I brought the whole bottle into the office with me tonight because, why the hell would I get up and go get refills?
Yeah,
I can
exactly
do it
right.
here.
The glasswork alone of Willet is worth showcasing.
Yeah, that stuff that's one of the most unusual any sort of liquor glass I've seen.
You know what pisses me off about it is it's so good, and I love the bottle, but it's like that initial pour when you get those couple glugs out of it, you get the glug, 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 glug. It's beautiful, but then it goes away, and it's like you almost want to just keep getting more bottles so you can keep getting that sound every time.
You need to keep pouring like bottles into bottles, so you always have that sound.
I just sit around the house. I fill it up with water when it's empty, and I'm like, I'm just going to drink water out of it.
I was going to suggest that, do like when you did when you were a teenager and pour water in the thing and make it, watered down.
Right there, you go.
Glug, glug, glug.
Fill it with milk for your kids in the morning and just pour it all in. Glug, glug, glug. Whatever.
Why does my milk in the morning smell like daddy's breath at night? Don't
Whatever.
worry about it.
Whatever.
You don't have to worry about that at all.
Well, nonetheless, gentlemen, cheers to all of us this evening. And
Cheers.
thanks for having us on.
Another week. It is Friday,
Indeed.
right?
It is Friday.
Don't know the month, don't know the day, doesn't matter.
Oh.
Mhm.
So can I have the first question?
Yeah, do it.
Sweet. Because we might jump off and move past this point. So the first thing, we met you guys at Dad 2.0, or at least I did. I didn't know anything about you until Doug said, "Hey, we got to have these guys on the show." I was like, "All right, cool." So yeah, Doug was awesome and introduced us, and that was cool. So then the thing that really jumped off to me the most before I could even hear any of your podcasts was the name of your show. I think it's I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. I love the way it shows everything that you guys are trying to do, but also as a father, I could completely and 100% relate to it. Because again, you wake, you do your dad duties, you drink, and then you reset. And I love it. And so I don't know where you guys came from that, but I love to hear the creative process that went through that.
I love that you said the order mattered, because we interviewed Doug French from the Jedi of Dad 2.0, and he was saying that his son laughed at the show he was about to come on because he was like, "Dad, what if you get those words mixed up? Like, are you just gonna parent drunk? Like, it's like those words. Like, what if you just wake, drink, dad, repeat?" And Doug actually like made that a thing. In terms of on the episode, he actually talked about the order.
That's right.
Yes. Oh, I didn't get to that one yet.
Yeah.
So really, man, it was a wordsmithing game from Palmer and I, and we threw 1,000 things at the wall, and we kind of had our objective in terms of what we wanted or thought we wanted to do with the show, with the podcast, and we threw a bunch of stuff out there, and this was kind of the cream that rose to the top.
Yeah, it was. I think, you know, initially when we started it, the whole goal of this was Mike and I are both, and I can't remember from when we talked, but you know, Mike and I are the primary care. We're the stay-at-homes in our families prior to COVID. Now all of us are that, but you know, back when people left their houses, we were the actual stay-at-homes in our families, and we kind of put it together really because, you know, we've been really good friends for a long time, but Mike and his wife moved to Asheville a handful of years ago, and we kind of found ourselves on the same path of our second kids kind of being born around the same time, and just finding ourselves in these positions of both starting our own businesses and working from home, and just having some voids and some unfulfillment in places, and kind of started this conversation really to be Mike and I talking about our experiences as the primary care, as the stay-at-home dads, and very quickly realized how boring our lives are and how little people wanted to actually listen to that. And so we started interviewing people and bringing other dads on to get them to share their definition of a today's dad, their story. And you know, that really was the birth of Wake, Dad, Drink, Repeat. I mean, we had the name prior, but that was really where we kind of got our steam and got moving.
Yeah, I always like hearing the origin stories from that kind of stuff, because we really kind of just bumped into each other at Dad 2.0. This year, like in past years, I kind of would. There's a weird space for it if you're not, like, I'm an extrovert, but I also have like wicked imposter syndrome. So like I go into those places and I'm like, look at all these people that have all these followers, and I'm like, here I am. But I really wanted to start talking to a bunch of people that I didn't know, because I know a lot of the guys in those groups. So I met you guys, and you handed me your card, and I was like, all right, these guys are coming, because that name was exactly like what we deal with. Like, Greg is a stay-at-home father as well. I am not. I'm the only guy that leaves the house.
Well, lucky you, Doug.
Yeah, I'm not leaving the house now. I'm ready. So, my poor wife, she works from home, and she just is like, "You're disrupting my groove, man." So I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
that's funny.
That's exactly how it goes.
The birth of the words, I distinctly remember my wife and I sitting on the couch, and this was days into the project of us trying to come up with names and just throwing things on a list. And my wife actually said it out loud. And like her and I said it over and over and over and over and over. We're like, that's stupid, but we wrote it on the list. And like that, and Palmer and I just ran with it. And we kind of like it because it's just like you said, it's very defining. One, there are millions of podcasts out there, so we don't want dad. You can't do the dads love kids, or like you need something a little edgier or eye-catching just to start. That's really it. And then hopefully it can tell a story, and hopefully like the naming can be part of your branding, and hopefully like it kind of encapsulates a lot of kind of marketing checklists for us that were kind of important and through happenstance. But I mean, it checks a lot of boxes for us, which we're proud of it.
Well, and it was funny too, because remember, we had a couple people like in the inner circle who were like, careful guys, like it's going to make it seem like it's going to make it seem like you guys drink a lot. And we're like, well, I mean, let's call a spade here, guys.
Lean into it, man.
I'm not going to steer away from the fact that we enjoy some beverages at the end of the day, because that's how one of the many ways in which we unwind. I'm not, everybody's got their own thing, and if you don't do that, that's cool. But like,
that just happens to be our vices.
It happens to be, and it's something that Mike and I, prior to kids, bonded over. I mean, that was how back in the day, Mike and his wife Courtney and I, we would sit around at night and we would cook dinner and we would have drinks, and like that was our shtick. That was our thing that we did. And so it's kind of been fun to watch that evolve into where it is now.
Yeah. So sorry, I have to ask a question about your guys are both bourbon guys. Do you drink it neat, or do you drink it with water, with ice? There's also bourbon water, which I've had with bourbon. I know, Mike, you said about making it with an old fashioned, which is a favorite here as well. What's your go-to for that?
I would love to hop on the rails for Brothers and Booze and give you just laundry list of my top go-tos. Gentlemen, it's what I can afford at the time, and I will make whatever the shit I can mix because that's what works for me. That's my answer. If you want like my other than my filtered, like Willet is fantastic. I've really grown to be the simplicity of old granddad keeps coming back and back and back and back and back.
But you're also a Scotch guy, man. That's
I'm a Scotch man, but that's not my old fashioned. I'm a 12-year Glenfiddich. I'm a Glenfiddich like person through and through. I have your 12, I have your 15s, your 18s, your 21s. I have their damn limited edition going for like $500 a bottle, like Fallen Phoenix, I think it's called. They had a snowstorm that took out one of their houses, and they just made a amalgamation of everything of what they had left inventory wise. It's a half-ass bottle of Scotch because it's just a shit ton of shit thrown into a bottle. But
$500 for it somehow.
I did not. It was a wedding gift, and it wasn't as expensive at the time, but now it's really expensive. But Snow Phoenix, that's the name of the bottle. But I'm a man of access. If it's accessible,
that's what she said.
That's my cup of tea. That's what she said, and that's why she's making me the drinks.
Yeah.
So, Doug, before you get to your next question, we have some comments rolling in. Yeah. And I don't know if this is going to be great, actually. Here we go. The fun part. Yeah. Hi, son.
Oh, Jesus. Come on, Dad.
Hey man, we had another guy. His mom had like a conversation with us during the entire show. It was great.
Ben's mom trolled him on our live show.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome.
That's funny. So I literally live in the woods, and I have very, very shitty internet, and I'm on my 4th stream of internet right now. So I have all of this on my phone. So I'm staring at a phone screen. I'm staring at all 4 of us. And now I'm staring at a little chat bubble from my dad that popped up that says LOL.
Here's another one. Well, here's another one.
Hi, Pops. Is my mom on too?
Give you the sunglasses and the thumbs up.
Now, listen, man, I love you guys, but you can't get this on a podcast. That's all I'm saying.
No, you can't. You can't. You really can't. Hey, Mike, your mom just commented on the post that we made from the Wake Dad Drink Repeat account. So there you go. You got mom and dad hitting you on both ends, buddy.
Full coverage.
Thanks, guys.
We are nothing if not supported by our families on this journey. Let me tell you.
This is the best. This is really
I love it. Right. I don't even know where you go from there. Actually, I had a question. And I just
it was good talking with you guys.
you know, guys. We're a family podcast. Like we're dad podcast, but that's a family tree thing. So family trees go up and down. So I've got my dad on there.
No, but it's an interesting thing. Actually, now I do got a question while Doug drinks. Like, it's funny because, your dad here put another comment. It's great because I'm pretty sure like the people who are closest to me don't watch my stuff or
don't give a shit.
Like the further you get out of like my like close friends, acquaintances, beer friends, beer festival friends, the further you get out, the more influence I have. I have zero influence on anyone that knew me before Daddy Porter. They say Daddy Porter, they don't watch, they don't care. And it's funny because I don't, on some level, I don't care because when I started my podcast, or when I started this whole Daddy Porter thing, it really wasn't for my close friends. And it was just really more to document what I was doing, and to like learn a lot, because I feel if I push myself out there and I start talking about beer, then I have to know something about it. Then I have to actually like research. Then I have to like, we have brewers on. So now I have to like research your brewery and figure out what you're doing. And it just all leads to more knowledge. So that's why I really did it. So I know it sounds bad, but I really don't care.
No, man, I get it.
My friends and my family don't get it. My mother doesn't get it. It would be hilarious one day, actually, if she trolled me. Doug, if it ever happened, it would be amazing. But like, no, so I don't.
Greg, we're gonna have a whole episode with just your mom and not tell you.
Let me tell you, that would be an interesting show.
That would be the last show. the series finale. You know what I mean? Where you just go out.
They just bring it for the fans.
My parents would never comment on here because my parents are asleep right now because they're 70s. So
look at this.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you something that I think is
from the dad too. So that's good.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. But I did have a question in here. So when you guys start a podcast like this, did you guys have an experience like me where you feel like the people closest to you, and it's not really a negative thing, it's just they just don't connect with what you're doing?
Sure.
Or have you guys had support from your family, which is again all good. Either way, it's good for me.
I'll tell you what I think is really interesting about it. So at least from my side, I definitely my like core family is really close. So everybody bought in. My mom listens to it. My dad listens to it. My sister and brother-in-law who don't have kids listen to it. And I think it's just more because we've been really fortunate to interview some cool guests, and it's an interesting conversation to listen to. So the close inner circle has definitely bought in and supports it. What's been interesting is my dad travels. When we were growing up, my dad was gone Monday through Friday, majority of the weeks out of the year. And when he was home on the weekends, he was home and he was all in, very engaged, very present. He is, we ask every guest on our show to define today's dad. And I mean, if people knew my dad, I would define it as Mike Palmer. I mean, my dad is he's a champion when it comes to being a dad. But it's really funny. I get these texts from my dad every Monday when a new episode comes out, and I always know when he's going to do it, because it'll be the guest who's like, well, today's dad is more than just, emotionally present. They're physically there. They're available. They do things with their kids. And I can just tell. I get these texts from him where he's like, I liked that today's dad definition, but, I don't know that I necessarily agree, because I feel like, and I know what he's saying. He's not doing it to be critical, but he's looking at it from a different perspective of his job, his experience with work and providing for our family the way in which he did. And then you know, when he was home, being fully engaged and fully there. And, you know, so that's I know that's not the exact answer to your question, Greg, but it's been really interesting, like that piece of it, of having the family listen to it.
Mhm.
But there's like no fluff with my dad. I mean, there's plenty of weeks where he texts me and he's like, or calls me or is over for a drink and he's like, you sounded like an asshole when you asked that question. I'm like, oh, cool, thanks, Dad. Like, appreciate it.
We should come up with a post segment of what Mike Palmer actually thinks about the episode.
Well, I'll tell you guys, it's going to be interesting. Mike and I are working on a Father's Day episode where we're going to do the week of Father's Day. That episode is going to be with us interviewing both of our dads. So that should be.
Oh, this is great. This is news breaking for my dad. So
good. I'm glad your dad's finding out.
So hopefully he's on board.
Yeah, Dad. Guess what?
Well, you know, the good thing is he's very responsive right now, Mike. So we'll know if he's
very receptive.
I give you like one of these, you're gonna be like, yeah, maybe.
I don't really care for those guys.
So, Doug, Greg, talk to me about the creation of Brothers and Booze. Where did that name come?
Greg,
I didn't mean to choke you up. So, where's your birth creation?
So, Greg and I had kind of known each other online for a year or so, maybe a little more, before we both went to Dad 2.0 and through the San Diego. Greg, I think, is where we because we were actually talking to Facebook folks because they were there. They were a sponsor. And Greg was talking about the Daddy Porter Beer Group, and he's like, I got this beer group, and I got this thing, and I know it's something. And then I'm saying, you know what I'm talking about. And then we're just kind of blah, 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 blah. And after that, it was just, you know, we always just bullshitted about beer, and I'd post stuff in there. And then Greg just said, hey, man, I have this idea, and I'd like you to be on it. And the reason he wanted me on it was because he's more of a beer guy. I'm actually more of a Scotch guy, but
good man.
I don't like beer. So it was like, he's more of an expert in beer, and I'm more of not an expert. I would never say that about myself, but I know a little bit more about Scotch and stuff like that. So oddly enough, I've rarely had whiskey on this show. Mostly I've been just trying to try different beers. But yeah, that's how we kind of got it together. I mean, Greg, you can comment because, you know, your perspective's a little different than mine on that, I guess.
Yeah. And we, well, that's the case. And I don't know, Doug and I were immediately chatty. So we didn't. It sounds like you guys, and I actually want to hear about it. It sounds like you guys knew each other from a while back, whereas Doug and I met at that too, and we were just. It was just one of those things where I don't know if you guys been to that too. So I'm sure that you were at that too. Maybe Doug was that guy to share. But there's always someone, or at least for me, where I meet them at a conference, and it's just like instant It's instant chemistry. Like we get each other. Like I feel
you handed us spotted cows. How could we not have instant chemistry with you?
Well, that was Doug's fault. That was all Doug.
Hey, man, you happen to have any? And he's like, "Yeah, I got a case of it." And it's like, "Okay."
And then Doug's like, "Oh man, you got to give me some beers for these guys." I'm like, "All right, yeah, whatever." So, anyway, but it was just really instant chemistry. Again, we were in a Facebook thing, and then when it was time for me to think about something to do this, this, as the story goes, I didn't drink enough beer to become a beer expert at some point. I literally would not. Again, I would wake Dad and repeat. I would skip the drink part. And just because, again, I was at a home dad, and it was just going. When you're at home dad, and they're like young, and you got like 3 of them, and it feels like 7 of them, and they're running around. Your day goes from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in 2 seconds, and there's just no time for drinking. There's just no time. So Doug was like, if I get Doug to do a Friday show with me, then I have to show up, and I have to drink, and I have to do research, and I have to work, and I have to learn. So Doug has really helped me during the learning process. As far as the name goes, we threw a whole bunch of names out, and just like you guys, I mean, you can imagine all the different Brothers Booze and booze names and beer blog names, and I don't know, Brothers in Booze stuck, and there's no one that really had it, and we didn't want to run into, it's not even copyright. You guys know how this is. You don't even want to run into like doing something someone else is doing. You don't want to right. Creatively, you just don't Like if you're not an idiot or a snake or a hoarder or whatever you want to call it, like a bad person, you don't want to take someone else's creative idea. And also, you almost assume that someone has that great idea. So that's why I love the name of your podcast, because it's so fucking unique. On top of being so fucking hard to be unique when everybody else is creative and everybody else. I always love to say S-Dog. I say everybody's 10,000 more times creative than me. Generally, I just think that, I'm not a creative guy. But then people are like, man, you got a show and you do all this, you're creative. But it's just kind of me keep myself down. But it's also a hat tip to people who are fucking more creative than me, like you guys.
I think no, but see, I'll tell you, I think the scary part about it, not even the scary, but the reality of the situation is, you got to accept what you're doing it for. So when Mike and I started this, I think like anybody who's starting any kind of business or adventure or whatever, we were like, here's a stretch goal. Here's a 90-day goal, 60-day goal, and here's the reality of where we are. And, this is, would we love to be making a ton of money off this? Would we love for this to be this major revenue source for us? Sure. Is it more important that this is something that we enjoy doing and that makes us better dads, better husbands, better humans? Absolutely. And that is why we do this at the end of the day, and it has been this incredible journey of, Mike, what next week is episode 46. Is that right?
Ish. Yeah.
46 ish. So we've done one episode every Monday, but then we've sprinkled in some other stuff throughout. So we're probably closer to 50 ish as far as actual episodes go. But I mean, it's been so rewarding, and it's time consuming and it's frustrating. And we both, have had our own businesses before we did this. We both started other jobs in the process of this. We both have gone through the furloughing and the craziness of everything that's been going on with COVID. And this is where we still pour our energy, with the free time that we have. And it doesn't feel like it does feel like a time suck, but it doesn't, because we enjoy doing it. Right. I mean, and that's the reality of the whole thing is it's like, and we say it to each other all the time. The second this stops being fun, the second this stops being rewarding, we're done. We're not doing it anymore.
That's what our business agreement says.
I mean, literally, that is what our business agreement says.
We actually have a written business agreement that physically had to be notarized, blah, 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 for like a bank account and all that kind of stuff. It was just like, dude, we're doing this for fun. Be cool. The second you're not cool, we're out. You can leave it anytime you want. And the other person can have it if they want it. Bottom line is, don't be a dick. Like that was and we both signed it. And that was it. That's our operating agreement for what we're doing as a project.
Cheers to that.
And then on the naming scheme, like Wake, Dad, Drink, Repeat, nobody's got it. We've got the .com. If you type it in, we have like the next everything. 5 pages from Google because nobody touches it. Nobody dabbles in it. There's nothing like it. There's no close proximity to it at all. So it's
man, Doug, we should steal it.
There you go.
Nobody's gonna stumble onto it. Like
run with it, boys. Run with it.
A purposeful search, but it's a solid.
Wait, drink, Dad, repeat.
Wait, coffee, Dad, drink, fuck. Repeat.
Well, so
Pass out.
That's a whole different Google search, my friend.
Yeah, that is a completely.
Yeah, you are getting a whole different result.
Hey, I'll tell you along those lines, and this is really funny. So, I've done. My background is in like marketing and communication. So I've got a decent bit of experience with like paid ads and all that kind of stuff in the social media world. So when we first started, I did a couple paid ads for us, and I was like, like keywords is like dad, dadding, daddy, today's dad, whatever. And the amount of just hardcore gay porn comments that we were getting back and just guys soliciting us like, will you be my daddy? And I mean, like, whatever, like if that's your thing, man, go for it. I have no issue with it. But I'm like, okay, we cannot do dadding or daddy as a keyword for social media ads anymore. No.
And look at our logo and look at our website.
It's like Mike and I like drinking out of each other's drinks.
It is what it is. It just happens to be it's just casualty from it, but it is what it is.
Hey, I think there's a comment we got to show there, Greg.
Oh yeah, I was gonna wait for our next segment.
Okay.
know,
I was like, oh,
because it might take us further then.
yeah. So can I just go to my second beer here real quick?
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys might actually be able to get this since it's from Coppertail Brewing. Unholy, which is an American triple. I've had this before. It has some super cool artwork.
Yeah, very cool.
This is from, I want to say, Florida, it's Tampa area. So this is actually a Hoppy triple. So a Hoppy Belgian triple. Greg, you'd like this because you like Belgians and you like hoppiness. So it's not like really hop, but this would be right up your alley. So I've had this before. This is excellent.
It looks the part.
For sure. So what are you, did you crack another one, Greg, or no?
Yeah, but we can wait.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Because it's a time for our sponsor, maybe?
And now it's time for our sponsor.
Mm-hmm. Which would be you guys.
That's us, Mike.
What's up?
All right, so we've talked around it quite a bit, but like we said, we're Palmer and Mike, from the podcast Wake Dad Drink Repeat, and the whole goal of our show is to define today's dad. So we talk to a different dad every week, and we start all of our shows by asking them what their definition of a today's dad is. This has been fun for us. This has been really cool watching this definition of a today's dad evolve. Our last episode was Craig Melvin from Third Hour of Today and MSNBC, which was just wicked cool getting to talk with Craig. And it's funny because here's this like super polished off guy that you would think would, or not think that is like just very kind of above board and just speaks very elegantly and has always very thoughtful things to say. And, his today's dad definition is like, man, none of us know what the hell we're doing. We're figuring it out as we go. And it was so perfect. Mike and I were both like, yep, that's it. That's right. That's totally spot on.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that level of honesty.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all the way, like our MO, our branding, what we do is, and it took us a while to get there, but what we do is define a today's dad. And just like Palmer said, every guest tells us their definition of today's dad. We get, our YouTube channel actually has videos of them giving their black and white definition of it. And we go even further. We're 50 episodes in, 45, whatever you want to call it. And Palmer and I were scratching our heads in terms of like, what do we do with this information? Like, we're growing a data bank of definitions of what a today's dad is. So we made a webpage on our website called the Rick House. So we actually store our definitions in a rick house to define and mature and ferment in the ever sophistication. We age what a today's dad definition is. We grow it, we put analytics to it, we actually build it out through time. And once a month we drop a Rick House episode that is us adding our monthly definitions into the Rick House. So we really we put a cherry on top of what we do, which is defining today's dad. And we go all the way to the nth degree of freaking putting charts to it and putting spreadsheets to it and growing it, because that's what we're doing. We're having more and more episodes and asking the same thing and having amazing conversations, and let's measure it. So that's really where we're at. And
Mike, this is, and I'm sure you guys have dealt with this too. And Greg, I know you said you kind of wanted to talk about this at some point, but it's been really interesting. And you guys are geographically distant like Mike and I are, but we're only about an hour and a half away. So we try to do a lot of our stuff in person when we can, be it Mike driving to Knoxville or me driving to Asheville and us interviewing folks together, because that dynamic is easier.
It's more fun.
But it's really been cool. I'm blanking on his last name, guys, so I apologize. But Larry from Dad Edge, who was at Dad 2 with all of us and was on the podcast panel with us. It was funny. He came up to us the first night and he was kind of like, hey, so how does it work with you guys being partners in this? Like, I had a partner when I started and things didn't go so well and this, that, and the other. And he was giving us just a very nice, friendly kind of like warning and advice on the whole situation. And it's funny for Mike and I, because there's just so little ego in this for us. It's really just, I mean, Mike was one of my groomsmen. I mean, we are just really near and dear friends. And I've looked at this as an opportunity for us to just be able to continue to grow our relationship and stay engaged with each other. And that's been great. I mean, the isolation, and that word has been so overused in the last 2 months, but the isolation that is easy to feel at times of being, the at-home parent or whatever. I mean, for us to legit have an excuse to text each other and call each other and talk to each other, a couple times a day. And the steam has worn off. We don't do it as much now as we used to in the beginning. Everything was a 10 alarm fire when we first started. And now it's like, oh, we're interviewing somebody in 30 minutes. All right, fine. We'll get to it. It's all good. Yeah. But
we're living our business agreement right now, buddy.
Yeah.
It's really like, if this shit's not fun, let's hop off the bandwagon. It's the long play, and we've all bought into it, and our staying power is real. And like our mentality's there, and we love what we're doing.
So we read this, we both found this fact independently when we first started. The average podcast dies off after, or the most common episode number that a podcast dies off at is 7 episodes.
Like 80% of podcasts.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're kind of like, well, here we are at basically 50. Like, we good, like we can kind of keep doing whatever we want to do at this point. It's pretty routine for us now. But then, us having 6.5 hours in the car together on the way up to DC, we came up with this Rickhouse idea. And, I'm driving the car, Mike's sitting on his computer. Mike's our webmaster. Mike does the majority of the behind the scenes stuff for us. And by the time we get to DC, we've edited an episode and gotten a new page on our website knocked out. And it's like, sweet. Like, this is that teamwork element of it. And it's the fun part of it. Right. So that has definitely been the most rewarding piece of this for me, is just our relationship continuing to grow, but then really understanding the impact that we're having. And it's not, we don't have tens of thousands of listeners. We don't have, it's not like we're the biggest, we're not Joe Rogan. But we have people that reach out to us and say, do what?
Nor do you want to be him.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I do want Spotify to pay me to only be on Spotify. That would be great.
Just say Spotify, if you're interested, reach out to us.
Yeah, I'm happy to give my cell phone number on air. That's fine. But it's just that having the handful of people reach out to us that have said, you're speaking to where I am in my life, or this person's today's dad definition helped me get through this rough week of parenting that I was having, or like that makes every bit of energy that we're putting into it worth it.
Yeah. It's like those, Doug and I get these same messages that people send us messages that they're happy that, like it helped. It was 30 minutes of their day that they helped just get by. Or some people say that you entertained me while I was in line at Costco. I've got that one. Yeah. So it's cool. It's cool for sure. So we've had some comments, a few comments come in. So Mike,
what?
Well, he wants to know. This was in context to him coming on your podcast, so he's not sure what's on there. So,
what?
Your dad's curious about the whole him coming on our podcast.
Yeah, when you announced that he's coming on your podcast, he's like, "What?" Like,
oh, that's a comment from there. We'll talk. I have your information, Dad. We'll talk later.
Not the place, Dad.
Hey, you'll slide in his DMs. Okay, that's good.
Dad, be cool. Be cool, man. I'll talk later.
Oh, even better.
Shit.
Doug,
hey, Mom.
We're never going to record. We're always going to do live.
This is exactly why we do it, because hey,
That's a new one. That just came through.
It's great.
Doug, again, we're never going to record. We're always going to do this live.
So great. Back to the support. I really have the support from my mom and my dad. So
apparently so.
And anybody that thinks otherwise can just suck it, because it's not like they're here.
Here's to that.
They're here. I brought my audience base.
So
You did.
Doug,
You did.
while all this was going on, I've had an Ale Asylum kind of night because I've had the old fuck COVID, which is Ale Asylum.
Oh, very nice.
Ale Asylum is a local big giant here, and unless you're in Madison, you don't know them, but they have a huge brewery. They're fantastic. Also, Doug, this beer, 100% of this beer proceeds go to local fuck, or I'm sorry, not
local fuck COVID relief.
Not local fuck COVID relief. No, local. So this is 100%. It's 100%.
It's a weird nonprofit.
Yep.
It also 100% increases the spread of COVID too. It's weird. It's weird, but when you fuck it, you get it. It's weird.
I like it. Says fuck COVID. I don't know if you guys can see at the bottom. It says also hoarders.
Also, what?
Hoarders.
Oh, yes.
Because people were actually hoarding that beer. They would.
Well, but right. It came out that, it was against fuck hoarders, but then the irony of it all is that people started hoarding it. Right. So then,
It's fair.
They wanted it to happen.
So this is another Ale Asylum Hazy Hopalicious I've had, and then this is I bought some of these to Dad too. I know that. I don't know if anybody getting. It's an amber, a hoppy amber. It's fantastic. And then I got one of Doug's. I got a Doug beer here that I'm going to open up at some point. You've had this one, right, Doug?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big Black Voodoo Daddy. That's
Who is that?
impressive.
Have I had that? I think I've had that. Who brews this?
This is an East Coast one, isn't it, Doug?
No, that's a NOLA beer. It's Voodoo Brewery.
Oh,
They're out of where?
And I didn't give you that one. So.
No, that's a Garth one.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm going to open that one up at some point, but I just wanted to say that before we get.
Well, Greg, that was cool. While you were doing that, I went from here to here.
So, here's
there he is, Art Eddie.
Art, what's up,
Art
buddy?
Eddie?
here's another fantastic guest you guys had on.
Yeah, Art.
You know what? That dude is he's a good homie right there.
Real deal right there, sir.
Hey, Paul, I have a question for you with your bourbon though, because we'd asked Mike, but how do you drink your bourbon? It looks like you have ice in it. Are you?
Well, I did. I don't anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna go neat now. But yeah, I typically go on one giant ice cube is my standard bourbon. But I love an old fashioned. So I do a lot of old fashions depending on the time of year. But on one single rock or neat is pretty much the way I do it.
Yeah. I will make a bourbon suggestion for you guys if you've never had it. It's a drink called a Martinez. It's a bourbon style martini. It is. Look it up. It's freaking superb.
Nice.
Okay.
Man. I'll look it up. Notes are being made. Gentlemen, I have an amazing beer that I want to talk about. It's in my fridge up a flight of stairs. So I'm going to take 45 seconds and go run and get that bitch so I can talk about it. And I'm going to drink it.
Go do it. Well, I think we can fill in while you're gone.
I'll tell you guys what's funny. He literally you dropped him, Greg. It's like he literally actually logged out after all the issues we had getting him in. He actually chose to log out. What a dumbass.
No, he didn't. I did that.
All right, let me tell you guys the real story of Wake Dad Drink Repeat now that Mike's gone.
And Palmer, we don't have to bring him back.
No, don't bring his ass back. Don't bring his ass back. You know what? Here we go. I'm a little shout out to Mike's mom and Mike's dad. I do all the work. I'm kidding. I'm completely kidding. Completely kidding. It's funny though, guys. So I'll start in on this story and then Mike can jump in if you want, but we met working at a outdoor retail shop here in Knoxville together. And we eventually there was two of the stores in Knoxville, and eventually we were both working at the same one. And it was right next to this place called the Beard and Beer Market. And it was the first in Knoxville, the first outdoor beer garden.
Beer garden. Yeah.
You know, cool taps, a whole bunch of great beers coming in. It was the first real like craft brewery place in Knoxville that you could go and get stuff from kind of all over the country. So we used to drink a shit ton of beer. And neither one of us is really a beer drinker anymore. Like it totally,
I don't know why.
I mean, we used to just drink big, mean, gnarly IPAs all the time, and just like
I think it might have been the comprehension of the 1,500 calories a day.
Oh my god! I mean, the amount of trail runs and rides we would have to do like the day after, and then it just wrecked your system. Oh god. Whereas bourbon, it's like, yeah, I'm good.
All right, can I talk about this guy?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so this is done by Highland Brewing out of Asheville, North Carolina. This is a New England style double IPA. However, this was done by an artist series, a limited edition. So this can is actually all a black wrap, and then where the silver is a void of where that wrap is. So it's like a negative indentation artwork of it.
Oh,
and this is space.
This is done by a friend of ours. Her name is Sam Moody. She's a badass artist and did a limited edition run with Highland Brewing.
Is that the chick that used to nanny for you guys, Mike?
Yeah, Sam Moody.
Seriously?
She's great. She's a great artist.
Wow.
So nonetheless, yes, very good beer. Amazing beer.
Have you boys drank much of Highlands before?
Highland or High Wire?
Highlands Brewing. So
Highland. There is a High Wire, but we're talking Highland.
Where's Highland?
Yeah.
Where's Highland?
I've been to High Wire.
Out of North Carolina.
Highland, no.
Out of Asheville.
You've been to High Wire, Asheville?
Oh, I've been. Oh, we got to talk, man.
Let's talk about Asheville breweries.
Oh, I sampled over 140 beers in 2 days there. So.
What? What?
Greg the fucking trooper, dude.
Sampled though. So what are that? That only amounts to like 76 beers, right?
Somewhere around that amount.
Right. Something like that. Right. But no, we could do a whole show on my trip to Asheville. It was a couple years ago, but I literally went. I stayed right in the middle of town, and I just went to all of them that I could. I think it ended up being like 14 in 2 days. Over 150 some beers or something. I just do flights and then I move on to the next one. I go by myself.
So you missed like 70% of the breweries here.
I missed a lot, but I hit all your good ones, and
it's a lot.
The one that just blows me away is Sierra Nevada. So
got it.
Yeah.
Is it the beer or strictly the facility?
It's everything, man. The facility enhances the beer. How about that?
Got it. And if you were to give it one, if you were to compare it to something, what would you compare it to?
You mean
I mean the experience. The experience of
the Sierra Nevada experience in Asheville, North Carolina, is one of the best experiences I've ever had at a brewery.
Compared to something else.
Mike's a very aggressive interviewer, Greg.
I am. I'm very aggressive. There's a common theme that a lot of people say when they drive through like the roads to get to it, and then they see.
It's like an estate.
Okay, well said.
It's almost like, again, I'm sorry, I'm older than you guys. So I'm about to date myself. It's almost like when like I would think about like rolling into like, you remember Dallas, that stupid show Dallas.
Stupid show Dallas.
You would go into the plantation, and you would and go under the arches. That's what I feel when I go to see it. I feel like royalty. I feel like, damn, this
Mike, are you hunting for Willy Wonka? Is that what you're hunting for? Yeah, okay. That's
the most common is when you get to the gates and you like go in and just see this massive, often with hop smoked piping like coming out of the facility.
You know what reminded me of that though too? Have you guys ever been to Guinness in Ireland? Like to the actual?
Nah.
That reminded me of Willy Wonka too. It's funny, like that was like the initial, like especially the elevator that takes you up to the high tasting floor there. I'm like, I'm literally getting ready to get shot in a chocolate fountain upstairs. Like that's what's happening.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, here's the dumb story of how idiotic I am. Is I went into that brewery and I'm walking around because the middle is a pint glass, so you walk around the whole pint glass to go up.
Right.
Take the elevator, and I'm like, why is all this world record stuff here? What the fuck is this? Oh, Guinness Book of World Records. Oh, God damn it.
You know what? I did the exact same thing. I'm giving you
a virtual high five for that because now I don't feel dumb.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you.
There's a small disconnect, but I feel like I could have put that together.
Yeah, people were really drunk on Guinness and were like, we should start a book about world records. No, so I asked you guys, we can stay on the Asheville thing, but I asked you guys about Highlands because they have some, that is, when I was talking about the beer market earlier, that is what I remember of like the initial like wicked kick-ass craft brews that they were bringing in. There was one that it's a seasonal one they do in the spring, I think, called St. Teresa's. No, Mike, which one is it? It's not St. Teresa's. Highlands?
The winter, the Cold Mountain? Cold Mountain?
No, there was a spring seasonal one they did that was so damn good.
14 seasonal beers. I
don't know. Anyways. Oh, there you go, Greg. But man, they have great beers.
Yeah, man.
Really
they're the oldest brewery here in Asheville. So they were the first.
Okay, wait. Highland, isn't this actually Asheville Brewing Company?
No, because there's an ABC, there's an Asheville Brewing Company.
Oh, God.
However, they're a pizza joint. They're like an in-house brewery that doesn't really distribute.
Their pizza's pretty damn good, actually.
Damn good pizza. Yeah, absolutely. Great. Couple locations, great pizza, good beer. But they're not.
Yeah, I remember that.
Distributed.
Yeah, I remember. Actually, I stayed right around the corner there, and I went twice. I rarely go to a place twice, but I went to that place twice.
I really want that Thunderstruck coffee porter.
Oh,
Thunderstruck is good.
You know, I wish I could do porters.
Oh,
wish you could too, buddy.
I just can't hang with them.
What about porters is something that doesn't resonate with you?
It makes me want to go to bed.
Whoa.
What about Stout?
Hold on, Palmer. Like in bed, like a sexy way, or in bed like this? I'm going to sleep.
There's a lot of things that make me feel sexy. Porters don't make me feel sexy.
Okay.
My banana hammock makes me feel sexy. There's a lot.
Hey,
no,
Michelle,
I don't know.
I'm just 4 coffee porters in, babe. You want to go to bed?
Baby.
Right.
No, I don't know. It just, it's too much of a meal in my beer for me. Like it just doesn't.
I think it's your and I's hang up on like beer right now. It's just like heavy in the gut, and it just makes you feel just it's just heavy and weighs you down.
I appreciate that a porter is a very good beer. I totally wish I could hang with it and do it. I just can't. And maybe it's that I haven't found the right one. I don't know. Maybe the right porter hasn't been introduced to me.
That's what they say about when you're dating. You know, you just really have
the right porter hasn't been poured in my mouth yet, guys.
That's the whole. It's not you, it's me thing, man. You just don't like porters. Just own it. You don't like it. Right. Okay.
Rails. Yes. What you pouring that, Greg? You pouring that beer that you had before?
Yeah. Well, at least what I like about Palmer is that he at least takes a respectful approach to not liking porters. Unlike
that is true. We had someone completely
right. So at least Palmer is.
I will own that it is me. It's me. It's not the porter. It is 100% me.
Who had a hatred towards porters?
Art Eddie.
Oh, Art.
What?
I'm kidding.
No, he was just making somebody up. No, you explain it, Greg, because you got this one. For who is our porter?
I thought Palmer said Art, and I was like, if Art Eddie did not like porters and he's waited this long to tell me, we have a friend, Afro Beer Chick. I met her at Fresh Fest last year. She's a fantastic beer blogger. Everybody look her up. Especially if you're in Chicago, she knows what she's talking about out there. Long story short, she came on this podcast, fellas. I mean, this vlog or whatever you want to call it, stream. She came on my stream and said that porters are brown water.
See, that's not right. Now, Newcastle is brown water. I will give you that.
That's a brown ale. That's a brown ale. Like, that is brown water for sure.
Right.
So that is piss.
He was clearly trolling me, and it's cool. So we go back and forth. I got it. It's cool.
Yeah, but we love her, so it's okay.
Right. So at least you came again. I like when people disagree, though. Like, don't come on Daddy Porter's show and say, "Oh yeah, I really like porters," and you don't. Tell the truth.
No, I mean, truly, I think what Mike said is spot on.
Daddy Porters just make her want to go to bed. You just misread the situation.
Good call, Mike.
And at that point, we are ending the stream and kicking these guys off. No. No, what were you gonna say?
And she was confused. She was like, "I guess it was you and not me." She was so confused. She's confused to this day.
Right. Well, she's definitely confused if she thinks brown water is important. But what were you gonna say, Palmer?
I was gonna say I think Mike's spot on with it. It's just I kid you guys not, less than 1/10 of a mile away from where we worked every day, we had this gigantic craft beer garden. And I mean, how many freaking shifts a week did we go over there and fill up growlers or grab sixers and then go back to my apartment or whatever? Sure. I mean, like that was the thing. We just went so hard and heavy on beer for so long that I think like
So take the let's take like trends.
And this is pre-kid, so it was like let's get fucked up every night and just see what happens.
I'm not talking about you and I. So now think about the beer industry. Craft beer came heavy, and then the taste palette was really like the wave was at IPAs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And still might be arguably, but I would argue like IPAs is kind of crashing. Would you guys agree with that?
No. But
you wouldn't?
No.
How about simply diversifying?
Right. Because it's going to like hazy and juicy and milkshake and stuff.
Or sours, or actually people are talking about people's pilsners, or like dialogue is getting
pilsners, bitch. I
love a pilsner. I'm not. No, it's fine. But like people are talking, like the dialogue is less IPAs, and it's kind of flattening the curve, gentlemen.
Don't do that.
Boom!
Don't do that. Fuck COVID.
But nonetheless, I feel like it's
fuck COVID.
Yes, fuck COVID. So, but it's diversifying, right? I would argue, and people are talking about coffees, people are talking about sours, people are talking about a bunch of different, to where it really was 99% IPAs, just for lack of. It's so disgusting.
Good statistics, man.
Nice. Yeah. I'm big on numbers. I'm big on made up numbers.
Big number guy.
But like Palmer, you and I like follow that trend, like right, like you and I were just like heavy drinkers. We were heavy on IPAs, and then we kind of dabbled elsewhere, and then we were just like bourbon. Yep, bourbon's great.
I don't know if I'm supposed to have the live comments on, but I totally love that comment.
Diversify, hard seltzer, baby. There's your diversity.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws. You know what I'm saying?
So while we're here, and we might as well. Sorry, Doug, if I jumped on you, but I'll shut up.
Let's do it.
While we're here,
while you go.
Wake, Dad, drink, repeat. So wake, Dad, claws, repeat. Do you guys do the claws?
Nah. No, I just. All right, I'll be honest. Mike and I, big fans of the Spindrift. I don't know if you guys know what Spindrift is, but if you don't, get on it. You take a can of Spindrift, you pour some Tito's into the top of it, and you just party on. I don't need White Claw when I can do it myself at home. I just don't.
I won't do White Claw. I'll make my own. And what the hell's your drink? What did you just say, Palmer? I'm sorry.
Spindrift.
Juice. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. So Spindrifts are nothing more than seltzer water with like normal live actual fruit juice.
There it
That's all
is.
that it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
it is.
so-
and
so-
it is.
so it's more-
Spindrift
it's
is
just a
about
really
as good as it
good-
gets.
Yeah, it's a good seltzer. That's all that it is. But nonetheless,
But
it's
good without
it's a good
vodka
mixer.
in it too. But it's
Solid mixer.
real good with vodka in it.
So
now you're talking my language.
okay, so you do that instead of the cost crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's shit. That's just sugar
Fake.
disgustingness.
Fake
I have
bullshit.
Yeah, but breweries are starting to do them, man. So you guys,
Oh, tons are.
All right. So I told
Tons
you
of them are.
guys when you guys asked us to come on the show, I told you guys I was going to send you some beers from Knoxville, and then clearly COVID fucked all of that up.
Yeah.
But I am going to send you guys some stuff from our good buddies at Pretentious Beer Co. because they make some fantastic beers. And if you guys have not listened to our episode with Matthew Cummings, this dude is a glass blower. So he's a glass blower by trade, and makes just beautiful sculptures and all this kind of stuff. But he wanted to get into the craft beer glass arena. So he started brewing beers to learn the types of beers that needed to be in certain glasses. I'm kind of fucking up how I say that, but I've had a lot of Willet. But anyways, his whole deal, he opened up a brewery next door to his studio called Pretentious Beer Co. And they brew beers and then they sell them out the bar there. But all of the beers are served out of his hand blown glasses, and it depends on what type of beer you get, what type of glass you get. But I totally was going to send you guys beers for this episode from there, but I wasn't able to get down there and do it. So
real deal.
When things get a little easier to access them, and maybe we'll come back and do this again. But I'm telling you right now, fantastic beers, really wicked cool glasses, and you can go in there. My wife, for my birthday a couple of years ago, she set up me and a couple of my friends went out for drinks beforehand. We went and had beers there, and then we went and we blew our own beer mugs. You
That's cool.
burned your fingerprints into them and did all this kind of cool stuff.
On purpose?
So it's on purpose. Not burn, but you had your fingerprint. Mike, don't be a dick. I mean, your mom and dad are listening. Don't be an asshole, Mike.
Hi, Mom.
But really cool stuff. Pretentious Beer Co., Pretentious Glass Co. Look them up. And actually, Matthew is like one of the number one sellers on Etsy. So you can get their glasses on Etsy, and you can order for any type of beer that you like to drink. And it's crazy. The dude literally brewed beer to learn how a beer was going to taste in glasses to be able to make sure that the glass amplified the taste of the beer. Just crazy.
And he doesn't sound pretentious.
No, he's like one of the. I see what you did there. I see what you did. It was good.
And now owns main, like, downtown Knoxville in the old city, like prime real estate. Now 2 pieces of real estate.
And I'll tell you, Mike, sorry to cut you off, but I'll tell you right now, the guy, we interviewed him, and was it the start of the show or the end of the show, Mike? No, it was the end of the show. He's like, I can't let you guys leave without doing a dad joke. And Mike and I swore that day, we're going to do a dad joke off at Pretentious Beer Co. with him, like as a fundraiser for something. But I'm like, we got to do a dad joke contest. Like, absolutely has to happen at Pretentious Beer Co.
Right. Does he have like an online person? Can I get online and order these glasses or see them? Or
Yeah, so on Etsy you can search Pretentious Glass Co., or you can just go on their website, Pretentious Glass Co. or Pretentious Beer Co. Wicked cool dude though. I mean, like, and he's got 2 young kids, and Mike's big thing with that episode, I remember it to this day, was he kind of built his empire brick by brick.
I found it.
I'm telling you guys, you got to order glasses from him. I'm telling you right now.
Add to cart, man. Just add to cart.
Look how beautiful those are.
Oh, so good.
Greg,
It's so cool, right?
Glassware on the shows.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you guys right now, if you want somebody else to get on this show, you reach out to Matthew, because that dude, not only not only do they brew fantastic beers, but they make those I mean, it is grade A stuff. Grade A stuff.
All right. So wait, you guys know this guy, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so we're gonna make this happen. He's coming up.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Is this Tom Hammond? Tom Hammond is
Mike!
my boss
That's
from
your
my
boss.
job. How you doing, Tom?
You've been found out.
I love you, buddy. We've had about 17 hours of Zoom meetings for sales meeting in the past 3 days, and I bet he's wondering why I'm on Zoom still.
And he's still staring at your face. Look at that.
Great idea, dad joke battle. We're on it, buddy. You would rule the roost with dad joke battles, my friend.
Cool. Glass Envy unlocked. Look at this. Bro.
Hey, guys,
check
I'm
him
not
out.
kidding. I'm not kidding. It is worth every penny. They are wicked cool glasses. I've got one of the IPA ones, and for the occasional time I drink an IPA still, I'm telling you, it totally changes the flavor profile of the beer when you drink it. It's
He has
crazy.
a porter glass, but he just drinks milk out of it.
Hey, they have one too. This is one of my favorite ones they used to do. I don't know if they still do or not, but what are the beers called? Is it a black and tan where you do the two different beers?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
they literally have a glass where you pour a lighter beer and a dark beer into it, and then you drink it, and they kind of funnel at the same time. I mean, just wicked cool shit, guys. Wicked cool shit.
Man, that's cool. That's cool. I don't know, man. I'm gonna hit you up after this, and we can see if we can make it work.
No, let's do it. Let's do it.
That's a great story.
He is. If you follow Matthew on Instagram, I think he's Captain Pretentious, or CAPT Pretentious. The guy, his beer glass aside, an incredible artist. The sculptings and everything that he makes out of glass is really, 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 really cool.
And really built from nothing, built from being an apprentice glass blower and bartering for hours, and then built his business from it. Awesome episode that we did with him. If I could plug that episode of ours from Matthew Cummings, but it was certainly amazing individual, and I don't think I've laughed so hard in an episode.
I slapped his ass during the episode. There was a lot of.
Wait, say that again.
I slapped his ass during the episode.
No,
I'm not ashamed to admit that. I'm not ashamed to admit that. If you're gonna slap somebody's ass during the episode, it's Matthew Cummings. That's whose ass you want to slap. But actually, when I talked earlier about Mike episode or editing an episode in the car on the way to Dad 2, that was the episode Mike was editing in the car on the way to Dad 2.
Meanwhile, Greg and I just when we drove to Dad 2, he drove from Madison to my house, which was 13 hours.
Just a stroll in the park. He's just swinging by to pick you up.
There you go.
Yeah, you say that in a very Samuel L. Jackson.
I slapped his ass during the episode.
That's so much better. This comes across so much better.
Doug, we get the best quotes on the show.
Oh, we do.
We do it live.
That Greg saves.
Huge.
I said one once where I said that toddler has no friends.
Did you just say huge? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Did.
Okay.
That toddler has no friends. That was one of mine.
That toddler has no friends.
I may or may not have had some really heavy beers that evening. So yeah.
Doug, it's time for
the willet's getting lower.
Yeah, it's time for this. The thing that I don't want to talk about
or think about. Doug, you go first.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah, because I know what mine is. Mine is depressing, so I think
is this just open ended?
Oh, yeah, you can random whatever, but I'm going to go first.
I love it. I love it.
Think about.
The thing that I don't want to think about is Michael fucking Jordan. Fuck him. I'm done.
Hey.
I have not watched it yet. I've not watched the series yet.
Do we want to explain it, or we just want to move on?
I'm tired of him. Here's the thing. All right, he's the greatest player ever. Great. He was a gigantic asshole, and I don't want to watch any more about him.
That's fair.
No.
That's fair.
So the thing I don't want to think about, Doug, is the next time I'm going to be on a road trip for beer. which is not going to be
Anytime
anytime soon. And it's just sad. You fellas, do you guys have anything you don't want to think about?
Palmer.
No, you go first, bud.
Man.
This could be anything. This could be anything. Go on any rant you want.
Yeah.
You know what chaps my ass? So I don't. We haven't really gone on the. You know what grinds my gears? We haven't gone on like the COVID train. But things that I don't want to talk about or think about are kind of it bothers me the path that we're on, and it bothers me the unlocking that we're doing, and it bothers me what chapter B or side B or the end of this looks like. That's what I don't want to think about, because I think we're fucking up, and I think it is what it is. We didn't start, so we're not going to go through it correctly, so we're not going to end it correctly. But nonetheless, I don't want to. I'm always roadblocked whenever I go down that rabbit hole of thought, and it's timely. And I hate saying it and bringing it up because we're living it. So there's enough news out about it. So let's not talk. But it's the point B of all of this. I don't want to think about it.
I feel you,
and it grinds my gears.
I feel you, Palmer.
You know, I hate to do this to you guys, and I'm sorry, and I apologize if this offends anyone. But you know what I don't want to think about? Donald Trump winning the fucking election in November. That's what I don't want to think about.
This is the first time anyone has said that, Doug.
You know what? Mike won't let me talk about politics on our show, and it pisses me the fuck off.
No, I don't want to. If we open up that floodgate, that's all we're talking about. I would love to talk about this. Let's
willing
discuss.
to open that floodgate up. I am willing to go all four generators running on that bitch.
Palmer.
You're amongst friends.
We got a.
I know I'm amongst friends.
Not only are you amongst friends, but we have a great form for you. Doug and I are going to do a live stream the Saturday before the election, and we're going to have round table people.
Men,
you can come on, and we will let you say whatever the fuck you want.
You know what I want to say? I'll just go ahead and give you a little preview right now. Fuck you, Donald Trump. Fuck you, Ivanka Trump. Fuck you, Eric Trump. Fuck you, Donald Trump Jr. That's what I will say.
So Doug and I have avoided politics on this show too. How did that work out tonight?
Kind of.
Sorry.
I'm always a veiled reference in there somewhere. That's usually
if you guys want, I can make it not as blunt. But I know
we should redo that. Go ahead and restate it.
No. Donald Trump likes when people are blunt. Remember, he's blunt. He runs around, so we can be blunt too.
So the problem is, you know what? The thing you don't want to talk about, Palmer, will probably coincide with my not wanting to talk about it very, very, very soon. Like
this is what the problem is. This is what the problem is. You can't be sitting there talking with Craig Melvin and be like, "Hey, Craig Melvin, fuck one, kill one, marry one. Donald Trump, go." You can't do that. Yeah. You're not supposed to do that on your show.
You could.
Again, Doug and I don't go back and forth. We're cool. And I don't know if you guys go back and forth, but like, I'm with you. Like, in today's politics, and it's great we got the politics, but in today's political thing, you can't disagree like you were able to when we were coming up. You can't have a civil conversation with those other people, or they feel that they can't have them with you either.
You know what scares me about that?
It's just like it's not really a dialogue.
The scariest thing about that.
Remember when Barack Obama had a beer in a rose garden or whatever?
Remember when Barack Obama wore a khaki suit and everybody just lost their shit?
Yes, but listen, no. Remember when he had a beer though, and that's when people were able to sit down with a beer and talk about politics. Now that beer gets thrown in your face.
Yep.
So I don't know if a podcast or a stream, unless it's specifically focused about politics, can get politics in a way that you could like have a good dialogue and not have people be pissed off.
I'm with you.
Or assholes comments, or you're the devil and you're this and your mother does this and my mother's a vampire.
It goes straight to your mama jokes and it has no relevancy. It doesn't make sense.
In all seriousness, this is what it boils down to. And I'll tell you right now, I think
we're going to get the brown water porters.
All four of us sat there and saw and listened to Kenneth Kellogg talk about his experience growing up and preparing his kids for the world. Preparing the world for his kids. Mike and I had the honor of having him on our show.
Yeah.
And expounding upon that and listening to his story a little bit more about that. And this is the thing at the end of the day that pisses me off more than anything. I have a 9-year-old daughter. I have a 2-year-old son. I do not want my kids to grow up in the world that we are living in right now. I will take COVID all day. I will take everything that we are facing all day long as that motherfucker is not the president of the United States. And it is because of the example that his leadership and who he is as a person sets. And I will plant my flag on this hill. I will die on it. I am happy to be that person. I'm happy to talk about it all day long. But the person in that office, the person who holds that position for this country should be somebody. Everybody has flaws as a human being. Mm-hmm. That human being is so flawed. He is so immoral. I do not want my kids growing up thinking that the leader of our country, the leader of the free world, should be that person. I do not want my daughter to go to school thinking that somebody who talks about how you should grab women by the pussy is okay. It is not okay. You do not vote for people who say things like that out loud. You know,
you're holding your head like, oh fuck.
No, I mean, but it just like it as a parent, I have more. If I didn't have kids, I would care less. Not care less. I wouldn't have as much of an issue with it. But as somebody who has kids, as somebody who is raising people to be stewards of this earth and go forward and do better than I have done on this earth, I do not like the example that he sets. That bothers me.
I would 100% agree, but this is why we don't talk about politics.
I know, and I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that I took it off the rails. I don't mean to be that person, but it just chaps my ass.
I echo, and I will sign that petition every day, buddy.
I know you
I'm
will.
with you, man.
You're smarter than me,
and not because I'm a damn follower. Not because you said it, because I agree with you.
Man, you two are nuts.
This is great.
How do we
know? And that's why we said, let's start a podcast.
I don't think Greg and I in private send shit like that to each other.
Oh,
all day long.
Well, I don't know.
Sorry, my bad.
Go on my Twitter, not my Daddy Porter, my other one. You'll see it all day long. So yeah, I couldn't agree more. And again, it's great. That's what we want. The thing that we don't want to think about, that's why we have it in a show, is to inject different opinions, have people just download and rant. And again, we do it at the end of the show, so you've already had 3 or 4 bourbons. So then
can I say one thing real quick?
We can really get to the fucking gist. Like,
can I say one thing?
Beginning. We wait to the end after Doug has his like 7
years over 10% or whatever the fuck.
Then he can read about Michael Jordan, even though he watches every single
twice.
He can rant about how he hates it, but I'm sorry.
I did not watch it twice. I watched it once, and I'm like, I'll never have to watch it again.
But you also gave it 5-star ratings, and you're telling all your friends about it and making sure they watch it, and you've seen it 10 times already.
To exactly what Greg just said, what I just did, the rant I just went on, is not open and willing to accept other people's point of views. So I'm not any better than people who sit on the far right and do anything different. But what I will say is I am one who is happy to admit when I think Donald Trump or any Republican has done anything right or anything moral. I just don't feel like it happens that often. Right. So I think to Greg, what you were saying, it's really sad that we live in a time, we live in a country, we live in a world where you can't have opposite opinions and it not be people just attacking each other all the time over it, you know?
Right.
And I really hope Mike and I started this thing on our show called our COVID check-in. We did a handful of them where we were talking to folks about, you know, what COVID-19 did to them, to their families, to their businesses, to their community, how they were, more importantly, how they were helping their families, their community, their business, whatever. And Mike had this great question that he asked at the end of every episode of, what's the silver lining? Where do we go from here? What do you hope the takeaway is from this? And I think the thing that was really cool of the answers we got from people was how they hope that, we kind of move into this next phase with being a little calmer, appreciating our downtime, appreciating our family units a little differently. And I hope the same thing is true come November, no matter if it's Biden that wins, Trump that wins, whatever, that if it is Biden that wins, which I hope to God that it is, that these last 4 years have served as a time for us as our country to realize this is what we don't want. We want this divisiveness. We don't want this hatred, this viciousness towards each other, that it's okay to disagree, but we still have to respect each other at the end of the day, and love each other and be able to move forward as a society with each other.
It's going to take some time, but I believe
it's going to take a lot.
Yeah. So
this is the first time we've never been able as a society to have conversations, right? Don't talk about sex, race, religion, but you can't even, don't you dare talk about politics, because there's no middle ground. There's no point of conversation. It is definitive rants like Palmer just did. either on Palmer's side or the right side, right? That's it. There's very little pragmatic or progress, or it's a level of disgust that it's so visceral for people that it's off the table. That's unhealthy as shit.
Yeah, I'm going to say something that may be wildly unpopular, but is historically accurate.
Oh,
politics has always been incredibly divisive.
100%.
In our country, it's always been incredibly divisive, but largely it's been divisive against people of color and women.
So what would you say we're
Cheers, Doug.
more? Yeah, absolutely. Are we more polarized?
We've always been polarized. Here's the thing. We have social media to just blast it in your face all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We've never had that. We've had newspapers. We've had things like that. And the news in the past has always been pretty milquetoast.
Yes, but
well, not only that, Doug. Not only do we have social media doing it, we have Russian bots. We literally have
there's a lot of things at play that we didn't have at play. That,
but you know what?
We have literally people not in our country stoking the fucking flames.
You know what we have on top of that, though? We have a country that elected a black man as president for 8 years. And I think the world of Barack Obama. I am a proud card-carrying Democrat, but I am also okay to call him out on his wrongs and the things that I don't think went well through his administration. But here's the deal. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Malcolm Gladwell or his podcast, Revisionist History. His first season of Revisionist History, I wish I could remember what episode it was, but he did this really great episode on kind of cultural norms and how the second you have a black man as president, as a country, we go, I'm not racist. I voted for a black guy once. And it completely goes away. And what happened by having Barack Obama as president for 8 years, which I voted for him twice proudly, I would vote for him again 100 more times. You had a lot of people that went, oh, I voted for a black guy. I'm not racist. But you know what? I really like Donald Trump, and I'm really glad there's Nazis marching through the streets of Charlottesville right now because, God damn it, I want my guns, and I don't like that those people are doing what they're doing. And
did they go straight to the Nazi comment?
No, because that's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. It is this level of. It is this level of. It's exactly what Doug just said. Politics have always been divisive, but they have always segregated or. I don't want to say monopolized, but have totally suppressed the opinions of minorities and women in this country. And it is upsetting. It's horrible to watch. It's one of those things that, I mean, and Mike, you're 100% right. This is why we don't talk about it on the show, because I will just dive in and go. But
so to underscore, this is what we don't want to talk about.
This is what I don't want to talk about. This is what I don't want to talk about. I don't want to think about. I don't want to think about that dude being president come November. You know, Mike and I got really drunk the night that he got elected at my house.
I really feel we're going to take care of it, but I actually want to hit another point that's very near and dear to my heart, and it's absolutely not as important. Ready?
Yeah.
We need to tone down.
Right. So I called out my favorite friend troll, Porter Troll, my friend. Sorry, Afro Beer Chick. I can't even get it out.
Listen,
so she has arrived and she's ready to talk. So let's go. So
here's the deal.
Ooh, someone doesn't like porters. Okay, here she is. She can be that one.
Yeah.
She's enjoying our show. She's enjoying the dialogue, guys. But she especially loves when Doug starts dropping beers.
I've done that in a few episodes, yes.
So we can talk about brown water porters again. Shalonda White, Afro Beer Chick, we have you scheduled for June 19th, which I believe is the day before Juneteenth, to come on with Aaron Govea. So
be awesome.
I don't know if did you guys meet Aaron Govea?
You met Aaron down at Dad 2.0, didn't you? Aaron Govea?
Oh my God.
Missed opportunity?
Who's
Aaron with?
Follow him on Twitter under Daddy Files.
Daddy Files?
Or follow or friend him on Facebook. You will fucking love him. He is the
We'll hook you guys up.
Yeah, for sure.
That's part of the travesty of Dad too. Sometimes is that there's so many great engaged dads. There's so many great talent there. There's so much good people moving there. You can't meet everyone.
I legitimately just looked him up on Facebook. I do not think I saw this guy the whole time we were there.
Aaron Govea is a trip.
He's a book coming out soon.
Hey, he did a Facebook post about our idiot president. I like this guy.
Yeah, you are gonna like him. I'm telling you.
You're gonna like him.
Regardless of that.
So Afro Beer Chick is on. She's scheduled for next month for us. And she is looking forward to it. That show's going to be off the hook.
That is going to be crazy awesome, man. I cannot wait for that one.
So, fellas, she's Afro Beer Chick. Look her up.
For sure.
She's a great advocate. She's obviously, she's a Black woman. So having a Black woman's perspective on beer is, again, fantastic. But also, she's very, she knows her shit. She doesn't know our porters, but we can work on that.
And then everybody's perfect. Right?
Aaron Govea is coming out with a book. He's coming out with 2 books. The guy's very outspoken about the thing I like about Aaron Govea is that he's what I call a white advocate. With all due respect, he is out there fighting the battle. While we're on politics, and I'm going to say it, it's great. But I believe that a lot of minorities really, really respect and have. We can't say. I mean, not that we can't say it, but there's only really so much we can show our appreciation to the white folks who are fighting this battle, because ultimately we believe at the end of the day that white people don't want to hear from us as far as diversity goes, and the only people that they'll really listen to is other white people. So when white people are very outspoken about it, and even if they go over the line, I really don't care, because I believe that these are advocates that we need in our community. And Aaron Govea is one of the.
Did you say that I went over the line?
No. And you're actually Aaron Govea was on our show, and I believe, if I could be wrong, that Palmer went on a way quote worse rant than Aaron did, right?
Yeah, it was a way more pointed rant.
Okay.
We may have had Aaron at a point where he had more than a few beers, and.
Well, again, it's because you boys don't drink this.
The Willet.
I do. I drink the proper whiskey, which is Scotch, not that fucking.
No. Listen, if you think I went off on Trump, I'm getting ready to go off on that Scotch bullshit.
Listen, we're an hour and a half in. I almost wanted to go another half an hour. Really start hitting a problem with the real questions. But anyway, hold on a second. So, Shalonda she's ready for the show, Doug.
She's going to talk big shit.
Be ready, Doug.
I am ready.
Look at this. Look.
Wow.
No.
Oh, you got to stop showing those comments, man. We're going to be out.
Man, so I don't. Yeah, I love Afro Beer Chick. She knows I do. So it's the thing. But like, part of what I love about her, and part about what really when she had me on the show, or when we had her on the show, is that she didn't really care that her opinion went up against mine. Have you guys had any of that? Like, because again, and even Doug and I, like, we argue about top sheets, and we're hour and a half, and I don't even know if we want.
I don't think we need to go another 15 minutes on top sheets.
Right, Doug and I argue about top sheets a lot, and it's just some dumb shit that like Doug and I make. Doug and I don't argue about anything. So let's just start there. We don't. We're really, I mean, we've only known each other for a couple years, but really we don't argue about each other. There's things that we disagree with, but we're almost like, look, hey man, we disagree, it's cool, or whatever. We don't, there's no fighting between us. So then I have to, or I told Doug on the side once, I like, not that I have to make up fights, but like part of my being a friend is like me poking fun at you. If I can't poke fun at you, we're not friends. It's just not, it doesn't work that way. Like, and that's why I love about Afro Beer Chick, because she figured out real quick that I'm like one of these people that needs to be poked. Like, our friendship isn't a friendship if you're not making fun of like why my hair is this way or my stupid porters, or like you have to make fun of something about me, like in order to be my friend. And I clearly got this between you guys because you guys were like throwing shit back and forth, like Palmer wants to talk about politics. Fuck him. Like you guys are like, so you guys are already there, but sometimes right. Sometimes, like, you know, you guys have been friends forever, and Doug and I haven't been friends, quote, forever. It does feel that way though. Doug can be very tiring. Oh my god.
I'm exhausting. I know.
Yeah, he's very exhausting. Jill,
you know, it's funny.
Jill warned me about that shit long ago. I didn't listen to her.
He's like, man, my husband is a pain in the ass.
But like,
I don't know that Mike and I disagree on all that much. I mean, I think we see eye to eye on a lot of things. I think it's been really interesting. So my daughter, when I got married, my daughter was she was 4, so she was my wife's from her first marriage and whatnot. But I kind of came into the dad experience a little bit ahead of him. Courtney, his wife, was pregnant at my wedding, which I don't know that we'll ever hear the end of because we were both relatively buzzed prior to walking down the aisle. And I think that caused some issues with Courtney.
That was 9 months pregnant, right?
Yeah, she was like right at popping point. Yeah. But you know, we Mike, I don't know that you and I really have anything that we like drastically disagree on with anything, man. We
we'll go fisticuffs, but like at the end we'll just call each other stupid shit and then move on. But like it's not but there's not a lot of there's not a lot of grit because there's not a lot of differentiating points of view.
No, I mean we call each other little bitches a lot and scream at each other about stupid shit, but we're
sure shit not scared to go to bat for ourselves and call each other out, but there's not a lot of polarizing differences.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? The thing is like friendships are those kind of things where you can be like, yeah, we disagree on this point, but yeah, fuck it. That's okay. You know, and you work through it. And
of course.
To your point, Michael, about like about being like, oh, well, we could still work through things and maybe we can get back to that. It's quite possible we can. The people that are the loudest are the people on the fringes.
Sure.
And the people that are in the middle are largely just, let's get back to fucking normal, whatever normal is. And normal might not be right for everybody because, you know, there's a whole lot of different issues with this country that need to be kind of ironed out. But I think most of the folks in this country don't want to be in this kind of hellscape where we're like just fucking throwing shit at each other and not being able to talk to each other. I genuinely think that. But, you know, we'll see. Hopefully, like you said, as whoever gets elected, I hope it just gets back to something where people are able to talk to each other.
Do you guys think, and if we're running way over your guys' time limit, I'm sorry, but I do have a question for you guys on that front.
We have no timeline.
There's no time limit here, by the way. Just
cool. Do you guys think that there's an ability?
Doesn't care.
Do you think there's an ability to move backwards? Do you think there's an ability to go back to the norms of old? I honestly don't think that there is. I don't think that we can. I think it's learning the lessons of the past and kind of reestablishing them moving forward. But I genuinely do not think we can go back to the ways of old.
The status quo now.
Can I answer that one, Doug?
Yeah,
simple answer, no. But no, and it's a twofold thing.
But no,
COVID changes everything. So that
really,
well, it changes absolutely. It changes the whole landscape as far as like, again, I don't know, Palmer. Again, we're friends, but I don't know when I'll be able to see you and
Never.
Well, I don't know, like what we did at that too, which was, hey, how are you? Shook hands, hugged, close. When am I going to be able to do that? So post-COVID, it's going to be hard for people to connect, in my opinion, just generally. So then we have to get rid of the divisive guy up there. He's way too divisive. Like, partisanship aside, he's divisive. Like, even if you like him, there's no way you can say he's not divisive. Come on. So, like, it's the divisiveness of him, whether you like him or not, that is the problem. But the problem really is, though, it's a systemic thing, Palmer, because I didn't really see Barack Obama as divisive, but plenty of people did.
Well, but
that's about mindset, and that's going to take a long ass time for people to realize that the person on the other side of you, politically, isn't really just trying to kill you or who hates the country or any of that shit. Now, there's plenty of evidence to say that Donald Trump is all of that. And so then it just makes it harder for people on our side who are, and when I say our side, I specifically mean anti-Trump. I'm anti-Trump. If you look at my Twitter, during the Barack Obama years, who I love and I respected him a lot, I was screaming and hollering about the shit that he wasn't doing or what he could do more and all that. So I'm really more of a centrist guy. But in the Trump years, I'm a big lefty asshole because Trump has put me there. So, and
I agree with you on that. But I guess my thing that I find interesting about it is I think there's a way to get back there. But I think everybody has to kind of have that little bit of a come to Jesus moment, you know, of like, sorry, I was an asshole for the last 4 years. Like, I mean, there has to be a little bit of that, but I don't know that. I think one side does that, but I don't know that the other side does. You know,
I'm with you, man. It's going to take a lot.
It is.
So listen, guys.
You guys were, I'm sorry, Doug, I'll let you go. You guys were fantastic fucking guests.
Oh yeah.
And I always say, if it's an hour and a half in and we just look there and it just happened, you guys gotta we gotta make this a regular thing. Seriously,
it'd be fun.
Let's do it.
It'd be fun.
Even with Palmer's political rants, man.
Like people stay tuned, and that's
people. I just have to note. People stay tuned. I'm looking at these numbers; they are higher than we normally get. And once Palmer started screaming and hollering about politics, Mike, I have to tell you, the numbers did not go down. They're still there.
My mom called her friends.
It wasn't like people were like, "Oh, you motherfuckers are talking politics. I'm not going to do that." Yeah, your parents did fall off though.
We might have had to go to bed.
Is it too late?
I get it. It's late for them.
No, but this is
you know what's crazy about this shit, guys? My wife is getting ready to go to work in 5 minutes for the next 12 hours.
Oh man!
Well, listen, we are having an app. We always have an after show if you guys are game. If you need to say goodbbe to your wife, and then you can if you get sleep. If you want to hang out a bit, we'll do that.
Yeah. So we're time to wrap.
More bourbon. You can drink more bourbon, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
So we're going to take you guys off, and Greg and I will wrap up our beers. But, man, this has been great. We definitely have to do this again.
Thank you guys for
my mom says she's still on here.
Go, Mom.
She called you out on your bullshit.
Yes, she did.
Hey, man. That's all for real. My mom's been asleep for freaking 3 hours. So, yeah.
So, yes, fellas. Seriously, though, I'm not joking. You guys need to come back on soon.
Absolutely, guys. Yeah, we'll totally do it. We'll send you guys some beers from Pretentious Beer Co. and we'll all drink the same beers together while we're doing it.
Good call. Superb.
We'll flip beers. How about that?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I got some other stuff for you guys. Don't worry.
So in the fall,
awesome.
Let's do it, guys. We'll mail it to you.
I'm holding you to it, and if not, I'm sending an Afro Beer Chick after you because
you don't want that.
I don't want that.
She was very entertained. She even posted it on her Twitter and she's got 6,000 people on her Twitter, and I got like 6. So I really think shit.
Well, we're gonna drink porters with her, so that's all we're gonna do.
Are we though?
Yo, we are. That's gonna be the thing of the show. We're just gonna sit down and force porters down our throats.
Right, we're gonna flip her.
Like, here's your 15 porters. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Fellas, thanks for your time, and thanks for doing.
Thanks for having us, guys.
At home dad. We didn't even get to me being an at home dad with you guys and all that. But so we got so much to cover the next time you guys.
Yeah, there's more stuff to talk about. So next time, guys. All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
It's been fun.
Cheers.
Man. So
great when that shit just goes so far, and you're just like, fuck, it's like an hour and a half. How'd that happen?
And you also have to, like, I don't know, it's like take a deep breath. Like, shit, like, man, these guys are good. Well, you see why they have a podcast, right? I mean, you see,
yeah, and they move.
See why they got it. Right.
They move seamlessly.
I love this show because you can see Palmer loosen up. Like, it was like when we first saw him, it was cool. And then, like, at the end, like, again, this is why we got to do the thing that you don't need to, or you don't want to think about later in the show. Get everybody have some beers, and then you really get the truth.
Yeah, here's some.
And again, no one
up and let it out.
No one cared. So let's go back through our comments though before we ditch out here. Do you have to? Okay. You good? Okay.
I dropped my glass.
Let's see here. So Afro Beer Chick brought 3 bottles of bourbon. Man, she loves bourbon.
She does
more than both of us. But the lady knows what to do with it though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she mixes it and she.
You see all these drinks makes. Holy shit! She's a freaking like. Yeah, like that's a bartender extraordinaire there. So she's great at it.
Ooh, and she's even beyond that shit. She's she's the one that you want to host your cocktail party.
Yeah, be like, here's all these. Here's a stick of gum. Here's 3 peanuts and a bottle of vodka, and figure out. And she would make something that would work.
We're about to have a good time tonight.
She's a big diver of drinks. So yes,
we're about to have. So she means what she said about her porters, but well.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Whatever.
Yes.
Or other stuff.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So that come to Jesus moment will never happen, she says, which is why we'll never get back there.
Right. Okay. Hey.
Right. You will not get me to do that, she says.
Oh man, best dude. She really is.
She really is, and I don't know, man. Like, it just shows, like, it just shows why it's good that we do this live show, because the engagement would never be the same. And again, we're still at the same amount of people that are watching now that were watching before Jackson went on his rant. I'm sorry, Palmer. My bad. Jackson. Anyway, Doug, what did you drink tonight? And let's wrap this up, buddy.
Yeah, I didn't even get to say what my third one was, which was interesting. So I'm trying to.
So let's start there now. What was it?
An Almond Biscotti Imperial Stout.
Oh, Duclaw.
Mm-hmm.
So what was going on with that?
That was fucking delicious, and it was barrel aged for 6 months as well.
Ooh. So did it have all those barrel aged features that we love?
Yeah. So I'm going to say I have 2 that I would not. There's not one clear winner. There's a dual winner for this. The first one was the Frost Bang that I had, which was a Russian Imperial Stout, which was excellent. This was, I'm going to say it's 1-1 and 1A. Like, literally, I did not have a beer that I was like, man, that was eh. So that was from Motorworks Brewing out of Bradenton, Florida. That was part of my beer mail yesterday. So these 2 were joint winners. It was the Unholy. Oop, wrong one. If I get it right. Maybe. Unholy. This is, they call it American Triple Ale. So it's a Belgian style with hops. So it's a hoppy. So excellent artwork on the cans. All their artwork is superb. I've had a couple of their beers. Who
was the brewery again?
It's Coppertail. And you know who introduced this to me? Scotty Schreier. Dad 2.0, Scotty Schreier. brought this to me.
Oh,
So
he brought it for you?
he brought that to San Diego.
Scotty.
Yeah, man.
The original, he's the original diaper dad.
Yeah.
This guy was bitching about diapers like 10 years before anybody was. Go on.
Yeah, for sure. So this was the other one that is also a winner of the Almond Biscotti. It's a barrel-aged almond and chocolate Imperial Stout. The almond and chocolate are just really not muted. They're just like really blended well with the Imperial Stout. And I didn't get a lot out of the barrel aging, but the barrel aging was only 6 months, so I didn't expect a whole lot out of the barrel aging part of it. But those two. What about you, man? Drop it like it's hot.
This one was the best one, actually. This was really good. Again, I didn't really with these fellas and everything that was going on.
Yeah.
But it was big, black, beautiful. It was roasty.
That's what she said.
It was
big, black and roasted.
Big, black and roasted. Yes. And all these three, man, they're all good. I don't know.
Real Asylum stuff, and they make great stuff. So
yes, and it's an hour. You've already had all this shit. It's $1 a beer. All these.
I had the fuck COVID or the Hoppalicious, but the Hoppalicious would be kind of out of my ballpark of what I wanted.
Yeah, this one.
That was excellent. I really like that.
That's a good one. These other two are pretty good, and I don't know. Ale Asylum's an IPA house. Generally, they just do IPAs. It's funny. They do IPAs, but when they don't want to do IPAs like big stouts and all that, they do fantastic. So they're great. They do. Hey man, they're paying the bills. So all of them are just fantastic. Doug, as you see at the bottom there, me and my friend Zach Rosen is our next appearance on Tuesday. I don't know if he can make it at 5, but we'll see. Whatever.
He should be able to as long as nothing's going on. So
Zach is a certified cicerone, so he has beer knowledge. But Zach is one of the most creative people. I remember I was talking about creative people. This motherfucker is one of the most creative people. This guy pairs beers with books, movies. Yeah, he it's crazy.
I got to be on that one.
He pairs beers with botanical gardens. So
that's my guy. I don't know him, but he's my guy already.
Oh yes, he does. You stroll through a botanical garden and you get beers and talk about flowers and
I'm telling you, the gardening I've been doing with my wife, like all that shit resonates.
He is hot fire. Like it doesn't like me talking about it now. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? When he says it, you're gonna be like, holy shit. And actually, just Zach and I want to do a t-shirt together called "Beer Pairs with Life." Working on that. So anyway, Doug.
Yeah. And we have another guest that we've confirmed for Friday that I'm super looking forward to. That I saved. Yeah, it's Renee Pickup, who is an author, a writer, an editor, and I've known her for a couple years. She is and she used to do a podcast called Booze and Books, where she would talk with authors and like drink while she was talking to authors, and talking to her. She's a vet. Her husband's still in the military. Like she is a deep, interesting human, and I'm really looking forward to having her on. I have a specific beer that I bought that I saved for her being on the show. So
excellent, and she sounds creative as fuck too.
Oh, she is. She's super duper creative.
Right,
and she's Johnny Bravo hair, which is fucking A. Who the hell pulls that off? I can't pull that up, obviously. So. Man, this has been fucking great.
Packed crazy week coming up. So Doug, have a great weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday probably.
Yeah, enjoy Memorial Day weekend, right?
Man, these guys had us for 2 hours. Holy shit.
Almost.
It's funny. Palmer's like, I know you guys got a time limit. We don't have a time limit. But
no,
if people are going to be watching and engaged,
shit goes, so it's great.
Right. And if people are going to be engaged and watching, we'll go forever because I don't know. I'm about to just go get another beer and maybe blast some more music.
I'm actually going to open this bourbon that I showed them earlier, the fistful of bourbon for the post show. So.
Oh, I don't know. We still got a couple people watching. I bet you they might want to join us, but unfortunately, we don't have the capacity. So, Doug, I will see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
You as well.